Alright, what's good, y'all? It's the Crimson Prince here. It's gonna be a short video. Just gonna rant about the Hunter Biden fiasco right before the election comes around, a couple days. So I mainly want to touch on, you know, I feel like there's a false sense of optimism going on, especially amongst, the Trump folks about the FBI potentially having this information on Hunter Biden, the case being open, and the DOJ potentially going to have some consequences arising out of this whole situation. But I just want to, pump the brakes a little bit. This is the same FBI that had its leadership run with the Steele dossier, full of unverified claims and perpetuated by the mainstream media, and failing to denounce a lot of these accusations and these baseless claims, and the fact that a lot of these indictments had nothing to do, well, none of the indictments had anything to do with Russia collusion, first of all. The same FBI that hit the director, Christopher Wray, all of a sudden, you claim that there's waves of right-wing extremism, right-wing violence, militant groups that are threatening, and a domestic terrorist threat amongst these groups, but you don't say anything about Antifa. You don't say Antifa. You characterize Antifa as an ideology. You don't characterize an organized group that behaves in a terroristic fashion, burning buildings down, stifling freedom of speech, inciting violence in the streets. So you don't say anything about Antifa. Okay, that FBI. This is the same FBI that had this laptop since late 2019, and until Giuliani and the Trump campaign actually released what happened in these emails, and until well before Tony Bobulinski came into the picture, you have them sitting on this evidence for, 5-6 months, doing absolutely nothing, letting Joe Biden become the candidate, and then what? So all of a sudden now we're supposed to believe there's this righteous group that's going to take action? I don't buy it, guys. I don't think there's any reason to buy this at all. The FBI is, there are people I believe are patriotic and do have the interest. Oh, not to mention the same FBI that framed a patriot, an upstanding member of our government, of our national security apparatus, and Michael Flynn, who had the balls to speak out against the Obama administration, and how they had all this information about potential Islamic threats in some database. There's an interview from I forgot when it was, maybe 2011, 2010. Had the balls to speak out against the Obama administration, didn't want to throw out Trump under the bus because he puts America first, and essentially was framed based on a law that was never implemented, a law that was basically swept under the rule books and dug out by the members of the FBI just to prosecute him. And now he's being dragged through the mud. And not to mention Judge Emmett Sullivan, that piece of trash, stalling things. But anyways, this is the same FBI that's involved with all these shenanigans, and I don't buy any of it. That given the same leadership that they have right now, that they'll actually make anything out of this. And the DOJ is another story. Look, I don't think Bill Barr is a full-blown swamp creature. I think he does actually care for this country, but I think he is compromised to a great extent. You can just see what happened with the Durham probe and the unmasking that was, all hyped up amongst, circles of Republicans, or even just independents following the news. Nothing came out of that. This is the same DOJ that ruled, whatever happened with Epstein was just a series of unfortunate circumstances or whatever, and they left it at that. So what are we really going to expect? We're going to expect them to do the right thing in this case? Now, I will say we had Trump speak out about, firing a lot more members of leadership, intelligence agencies, which is great if he wins the election. He put in a great replacement of Director of National Intelligence and John Ratcliffe. We need more people like him, like General Flynn, in these positions. Not for political reasons, but given this, the pressure that these guys are under, probably with members of the establishment, they've still put America first, and they're not afraid to tell it like it is. So that's why this election is so huge, guys. Even if Trump wins, I don't know if Joe Biden will be, or even his son will be, brought to justice. But at least we can potentially have a lot more upstanding individuals as, director of the FBI instead of Christopher Wray. Other heads in the intelligence agencies, actual upstanding Americans, because the swamp runs deep. It's been this way for decades, and I don't know how long it's gonna, stay like this for. If Joe Biden, probably forever, at this point, if Joe Biden wins this election. So they're freaking out, guys. They're freaking out. We got to bring it home. We got to give them a reason to freak out. We got to come out in droves, and we got to put Trump back in office and do what's right. Yeah, so don't get your hopes up right now, guys. We got to put the election first. The FBI, I think, it's too corrupted to put your faith in. I mean, we can hope, but we should not count on it at all. But yeah, and the CIA is worse. Oh my goodness, the CIA, from Kennedy to to Clapper, Brennan, they got there's the scummiest of, I'm not going to go into it, but like I said, guys, let's put Trump back in office. Don't get your hopes up on this Hunter Biden thing. We got to win this election. Make sure you go out and vote. And what happens from there, win or lose, we'll see. We'll continue to voice our opinions, fight against censorship, and put America